Mat Armstrong just did something that no one expected. And now, the entire car community is watching closely. Because his message to Bugatti didn't just get attention. It sparked a huge reaction. And the real question now is, what happens next? For those who don't know, Mat Armstrong has built a reputation for doing what most people wouldn't even attempt. Rebuilding crashed supercars, taking on impossible projects, and turning them into viral success stories. His content isn't just about cars, it's about proving that limits can be pushed. But this time, things feel different. Because Bugatti isn't just any car brand. It represents the absolute peak of luxury, engineering, and exclusivity. The kind of brand that doesn't usually get involved in YouTube drama or respond to creators. And yet, here we are. After Matt shared his message, fans immediately started reacting. Some were excited, some were shocked, and others were asking the same question. Is this the moment everything changes for him? The message itself wasn't just casual. It carried weight. It hinted at ambition, challenge, and possibly something much bigger happening behind the scenes. And that's where the speculation began. Could this lead to a collaboration? Is Bugatti actually paying attention? Or is this setting up one of the biggest automotive stories YouTube has seen? Because let's be honest, Mat Armstrong doesn't make small moves. Every project he takes on is bigger than the last. Every video raises the stakes. And every time people think he's reached his limit, he proves them wrong. So when he sends a message directly to a brand like Bugatti, it's not random, it's intentional. And that's exactly why people are paying attention right now. Some fans believe this could be the start of something massive, a potential partnership, a rare opportunity, or even a challenge that could redefine his channel. Others think it's something else entirely, a bold move to get noticed, a calculated risk, a moment designed to shake the industry. But no matter what side you're on, one thing is clear. This has already worked. Because now, everyone is watching. The comments are filled with theories. The views are climbing. And the conversation is growing bigger by the hour. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Bugatti hasn't fully responded. At least, not in a way the public expected. And that silence, it's creating even more curiosity. Because silence from a brand like Bugatti can mean many things. It could mean they're not interested. Or it could mean they're watching quietly, deciding their next move. And if they are watching, that changes everything. Because if Bugatti steps in, even slightly, it would be a moment that could completely shift Mat Armstrong's career. Think about it. A YouTube creator connecting with one of the most elite automotive brands in the world? That's not just content. That's history in the making. But there's also risk. Because stepping into that level of attention means higher expectations, more pressure, and a spotlight that never turns off. And Matt knows that, which is why his next move matters more than ever. Will he double down? Will he push even further? Or will this moment pass as just another viral spike? Right now, nobody knows. And that's exactly why this story is exploding. Because it's not finished. It's just getting started. So the real question isn't just what he said to Bugatti. It's what happens next. Will this turn into something massive? Or is this just the beginning of a much bigger plan? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Bugatti going to respond? Or is Mat Armstrong about to shock everyone again? And if you want to stay ahead of stories like this, make sure you're subscribed. Because the next update on this might be bigger than anyone expects. And here's the part that most people still aren't thinking about. What if this wasn't just a message? What if this was a setup? Because if you look closely at how Mat Armstrong operates, there's always a pattern. He doesn't just post content randomly. He builds anticipation. He creates moments. He sets the stage before the big reveal. And right now, it feels like the stage is being set. Think back to his biggest projects. At first, people doubted him. They questioned whether it was even possible. And then, step by step, he proved them wrong, while the entire internet watched. So when he reaches out to Bugatti, one of the most exclusive car brands in the world, it's not just about getting attention. It's about creating a moment that people can't ignore. And here's where things get even more interesting. Some fans have started digging deeper. They are looking at past videos, old hints, small details that didn't seem important before, but now suddenly feel connected. Could there already be a Bugatti project in the works? Is there something he hasn't revealed yet? Because if there is, that would explain everything. the message, the timing, the reaction, all of it could be part of something much bigger. And if that's true, then what we're seeing right now is just the beginning, not the main event. But there's another possibility too. What if this is a test? A way to see how the audience reacts. A way to measure interest before making the next move. Because let's be real, when you're operating at Mat Armstrong's level, every move is strategic. Every decision has a purpose. And every viral moment opens a door to something bigger. Now imagine this. Bugatti sees the reaction. They see the engagement. They see the demand from fans asking for collaboration. At that point, ignoring it becomes harder, because the audience is already involved. And when the audience pushes something hard enough, brands start paying attention. That's how modern influence works. Not through traditional advertising, but through moments exactly like this. Moments where the internet decides what it wants to see next. And right now, the internet is watching Mat Armstrong, waiting, speculating, refreshing for updates, because everyone wants to be there when the next move drops. And here's the truth. This could go in any direction. It could turn into a collaboration that no one saw coming. It could become one of the biggest builds on YouTube. Oh, it could take a completely unexpected turn that nobody predicted. But one thing is certain. Mat Armstrong isn't done. Not even close. If anything, this feels like the start of something much bigger. And if you've been following his journey, you already know. The bigger the silence, the bigger the reveal. So keep your eyes on this. Because the next update might not just surprise you. It might completely change the game. And when it happens, you're going to want to say you saw it coming. And just when it feels like things couldn't get more intense. There's one more angle almost nobody is talking about. What if this isn't just about Mat Armstrong reaching out to Bugatti, but about him stepping into an entirely different level of the game? Because up until now, he's been known for rebuilding damaged supercars, taking what others consider impossible and turning it into something incredible. But Bugatti? That's not just another step up. That's a completely different world. We're talking about cars that aren't just rare, they're almost untouchable. Machines that are engineered to perfection, protected by brand reputation, and surrounded by exclusivity that very few people ever get close to. So if Mat is even hinting at entering that space, it's not just bold, it's disruptive. And disruption is exactly what gets attention. Now imagine this scenario. A heavily damaged Bugatti appears. Something nobody expects to be rebuilt. Something that most people would say should never be touched. And then Mat Armstrong steps in. That wouldn't just be a video. That would be a moment the entire automotive world would stop to watch. Because it challenges everything. The idea of perfection. The idea of exclusivity. The idea that some things are simply off limits. And that's exactly why people are reacting so strongly right now. Because deep down, everyone is wondering the same thing. Is he actually going to do it? Is he about to attempt something no creator has done before? Oh, is this all building towards something even bigger than a single project? Because here's something important to understand. When creators reach a certain level, they stop chasing views and start creating legacy moments. Moments that define their career. Moments people remember years later. And this feels like one of those moments. But with that comes pressure. Because the higher you go, the harder it is to meet expectations. And right now, expectations are higher than ever. Fans are expecting something massive, something shocking, something worth all this attention. And if Mat delivers, this could be the biggest turning point of his entire journey. But if he doesn't, that hype could disappear just as fast as it came. That's the risk of playing at this level. And yet, if there's one thing we know about Mat Armstrong, it's that he thrives under pressure. He doesn't avoid big challenges. He runs straight toward them, which is exactly why the situation feels different from anything we've seen before. Because it's not just about a message anymore. It's about what that message represents. Ambition, risk, opportunity, and possibly a move that could change everything. So now, all eyes on what happens next. Will Bugatti finally respond? Will Mat reveal something unexpected? Or will this story take a turn nobody saw coming? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. This isn't over. Not even close. In fact, it might just be getting started. So stay ready, because the next update could drop at any moment. And when it does, it might break the internet. And now, we've reached a point where everything comes down to one final move. Because moments like this don't last forever. The attention, the speculation, the anticipation. At some point, it all needs a payoff. And that's where Mat Armstrong stands right now, right on the edge of turning this from a viral moment into something much bigger. Because if there's no follow-up, no reveal, no action, then this becomes just another story that faded after the hype. But if there's a follow-up, if there's even a small step forward, then everything changes. Because suddenly, it's no longer just talk. It becomes real. And when things become real at this level, they don't just trend, they explode. Now think about what's at stake here. This isn't just about one video or one idea. This is about positioning, reputation, legacy. Because stepping into a space connected to Bugatti, even indirectly, puts you in a completely different category. A category where expectations are higher, where pressure is stronger, where every move is watched by millions. And yet, that's exactly the kind of situation Mat Armstrong has built his career on. Taking risks, chasing the impossible, doing what others won't. So if this moment leads where many people think it might, then we could be looking at something that defines his entire journey. A project that people talk about for years. A moment that sets a new standard. A move that proves just how far a creator can go. But until that next step happens, everything remains a question. And maybe that's what makes this so powerful. Not knowing, waiting, watching. Because sometimes the biggest moments in YouTube history aren't the ones you see coming. They're the ones that build quietly, right before everything changes. So now it's over to him. The next move, the next upload, the next reveal, whatever it is, it has the potential to change everything. And when it finally happens, you'll want to be there. Because this story, it's not finished. It's just waiting for its biggest moment. And that moment could be closer than anyone thinks. And just when it seems like the hype might start slowing down, something else keeps it alive. The silence. No official statement. No clear confirmation. No obvious next step. And somehow, that makes everything even bigger. Because in today's world, silence doesn't kill a story. It fuels it. Every hour that passes without an update gives people more time to speculate, more time to imagine, and more time to build expectations that go far beyond the original moment. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. Some viewers are convinced that a reveal is already filmed and ready to drop. Others believe negotiations could be happening behind closed doors. And then there are those who think this is just a calm before something massive. Because let's be honest, Mat Armstrong knows exactly how to hold attention. He understands pacing. He understands timing. And most importantly, he understands how to make people wait. That's what separates average creators from the ones who dominate YouTube. It's not just about what you show. It's about when you show it. And right now, the timing feels intentional. Like something is being lined up perfectly. Think about it. If he drops something too early, the impact is smaller. If he waits too long, the interest fades. But if he hits that perfect moment, that's when things explode. And based on his track record, he knows exactly when to strike. Now imagine the possibilities again. A reveal video, a hidden project, a collaboration nobody expected, or even something completely different that flips the entire narrative. Because sometimes the biggest moves are the ones nobody predicts. And that's what makes a situation so powerful. It's unpredictable. And unpredictability keeps people watching. It keeps them refreshing. It keeps them talking. And it keeps this story alive far longer than a normal moment would last. But here's a deeper layer most people miss. This isn't just about cars anymore. It's about influence. It's about how one creator can spark a global conversation with a single message. It's about how audiences now play a role in shaping what happens next. Because if enough people demand something, it becomes harder to ignore. And right now, the demand is clear. People want to see what happens between Mat Armstrong and Bugatti. They want answers. They want action. They want the next chapter. And until that happens, this story stays active, growing, building, waiting for that one moment that takes it to the next level. So here's a question you should be asking yourself now. When that moment finally comes, will it meet expectations, or will it completely exceed them? Because if there's one thing Mat Armstrong has proven again and again, it's that he doesn't just follow expectations. He breaks them. And if that happens here, this won't just be another viral moment. This will be one of those turning points people look back on and say, that's when everything changed. So stay locked in, because the next move isn't just important. It might be unforgettable. And just before this all wraps up, there's one last thing to think about. Moments like this don't just test a creator's ambition. They test their timing. Because in a space as fast-moving as YouTube, timing is everything. One perfectly placed upload can change everything overnight. But one missed moment, and the momentum disappears. Right now, Mat Armstrong is sitting on momentum that most creators would dream of. The audience is ready. The attention is locked in. The curiosity is at its peak. And that creates a rare window. A window where anything he does next, no matter how big or small, will be amplified across the entire platform. But here's the reality. Windows like this don't stay open forever. They close. And when they do, it becomes much harder to recreate that same level of hype. That's why this next move isn't just important. It's critical, because if he delivers something that matches the expectation, or even exceeds it, then this moment turns into something historic. But if the follow-up doesn't land the same way, then people move on. That's how fast things change online. And yet, if there's one thing we've seen again and again, it's that Mat Armstrong understands this better than most. He knows when to build tension. He knows when to stay silent. And most importantly, he knows when to strike. So if it's waiting right now, there's probably a reason. A bigger play, a bigger reveal, something designed not just to continue the story, but to completely elevate it. And that brings us to the final question. Not whether something is coming, but how big it's going to be. Because at this level, normal isn't enough anymore. It has to surprise people. It has to break expectations. It has to make the entire community stop and pay attention. And if that happens, this won't just be another viral moment. This will be the moment that defines what's possible for creators in this space. So whatever you do, don't look away just yet. Because the next upload, the next move, the next reveal might not just answer the question. It might change everything you thought was possible. And when it finally drops, you'll understand why this moment mattered. Until then, all we can do is watch and wait, because something big is coming. And when it arrives, you won't miss it.